Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome to the 5th episode of my Torment Tides of Numenera Impressions playthrough. I believe it's episode 5. I'm pretty sure it's episode 5. If it isn't, I'm going to look foolish, so let's soldier on. In the last episode, finally met the cult of the changing god. Allegorn took me to them, and they want me to fix a clock. I also got my first side quest, a quite intricate con to try and save a man from execution by impersonating a higher authority. So I'm thinking maybe as I start to play today, we're going to try and do that, but we'll see what happens, won't we? Let's continue on with the game. Okay, loading. Oh, okay, it's really zoomed in there. I don't know why it's so zoomed in.
All right.
Okay, and it went a bit... It's always good, I think, to talk to people who have names in these games, so let's just see what's happening here. A creature floats before you, hidden inside the bulk of its armor, cloth robes, unmoving and unmoved by your presence. Exactly who or what the thing is, man or machine, mutant or monster, is impossible to discern. Its glass face reveals nothing but your reflection. Its mechanical voice reveals nothing at all. You recall that this creature is known as Phalathus, but you don't know anything else about them. Exquisite, the Phalathus grates, in reading perhaps, or perhaps lost in his own inscrutable thoughts. Oh, why thank you, he replies. The Phalathus does not acknowledge his quip or even his existence in any way. The creature's thoughts are as obscure as its glass face. It's as though it weren't even there. You are exquisite as well. A sound like the grinding of drit-filled gears is the thing's only response. Gold tide raised a tiny amount. For a moment that stretches uncomfortably, you feel the cold scrutiny of the Phalathus upon you. At last, it speaks again. The sun cannot warm the vastness between the worlds. As I have indigestion while reading. Wonderful. You know, I haven't eaten anything before this recording. My meal was like a couple hours ago. The Phalathus's implacable gas gaze. I'm thinking about food again. The Phalathus's implacable glass gaze bores through your skin and sees more than others do, and seems to be seeking something from you. Ooh, I could ask about the sorrow. Well, why don't I ask it about itself? Because that's a persuasion. Tell me about yourself. Ooh, 25%? 45%? Oh. Right, so if I click, it goes through with it. And I was going to see if my companions could do better than I, but I passed anyway. Hooray. The Avatrol whistles while it runs, a fearful sound, perhaps even for the Avatrol. Lore neutral. They whistle because of the gaping holes in their skulls. Whether the Phalathus intends an insult, a joke, or something else is entirely unclear. Apparently, this is what passes for effusiveness in a Phalathus. Do you know anything about the sorrow, about the resonance chamber built by the changing god? Silence lingers long until at last the Phalathus speaks. I know it shall be 3. I know the first cannot be trusted. I know one changes as you change. I know they seek an undoing. Its glass face storms, but the Phalathus says no more. What do you want from me? The Phalathus ponders silently until at last it asks, when you face Koro, why did you not step first with your left foot? Balance, probably. The Phalathus accepts your answer in silence, then after a long pause replies, in his vault, the Cloven One reads from his great book to his disciples. He sleeps and awakens and has forgotten his place in the grimoire. He begins anew. The book is a part of him. He has no legs and takes no steps. It is his own self from which he reads. It is his own self that is incomplete. It is his own self that binds him in the vault of his own mind. Allegorn steps toward the Philetus. You speak of Dinanukt. Dinanukt? Whatever. The one who sits in the waters between the worlds. You've seen him? The Philetus whirs and rumbles, then lowers its head, perhaps in negation, perhaps in acknowledgement. Allegorn growls in frustration. You've been following me? In memory, cause follows effect. In rain, the colors run. A long rumble suggests that the Philetus has more to say, but nothing emerges. Please tell me about yourself in a way I can understand. No. What more do you want from me? When the Philetus at last answers, its mechanical voice seems to creak. You did not accept your fall. When you are served the bitter root, will you eat? I don't know. Philetus is silent, showing neither satisfaction nor dismay at your response. Why are you so interested in my choices? In a slow rumble, the Philetus replies, They are not yours. Farewell. As you step away, the Philetus swivels to keep its glass face trained upon you. Interesting. Maybe it follows the cast-offs of the Changing God. Okay, so yeah, we got no more named people.
Of course.
Not a bad name here. Crier? No, that's just a town crier. I remember in Planescape, though, you could talk to everybody and there was conversation to be had, but we've only got so much time here. The genocide? This burly armor-clad figure stands almost motionless as you approach. He regards you silently through his singular eye. The studs on his arms and the blades on his shoulders are stained and pitted with age. When he speaks, his voice is muffled and artificial, a hollow grumble that emanates from the entirety of the helmet. I am the genocide. If you ask, I must answer. Pass on then, and exchange no words. His surface thoughts are like a crystal pool, alternately transparent or else perfectly reflecting his words. His mind reveals nothing hidden except for a low-level hatred of everything around him. This latter is more a feeling you get than an actual thought that you hear. You said you had to answer if I asked. Why? From within the helmet you hear a grinding noise, the sound of teeth gnashing amplified, then the voice again bleak. We sat at the river's edge and we wept for the time that was. We saw nothing more to conquer, and yet our fears still drove us. We had conquered the land, purged its impurities, made it ours. Still we wanted more. When we heard that humans had come to carve a home, we rejoiced to have a new foe, a new test of our truth. We rode against them. We drove them to the forge of the night sky, to the valley of Mirage Aloy, to the dangers of the Black Riage. But those who built atop these ruins, they thwarted us, time and again, and so we brought our constructs and our deadliest warriors to the bay outside the city. We laid a mighty siege. We entered the human settlement. We fought past barricades and traps. Some of our constructs are still here, silent and dead, but when we thought we had achieved our greatest victory, he lowers his head, a powerful nano saved them. With his magics, he called upon the strength of the ancients and captured us. I thought my life was at an end, but he imprisoned me in slow time, trapped me in my body, used machines to paralyze my will. I still remember our glories, and I see the fated future in front of me, and I am powerless to act. The memories of our triumphs remain always at the forefront of my mind, and I must answer the mocking questions of these people or suffer. What are you? I am a blade that cannot cut, a weapon that cannot strike, a living monument to failure. He shifts his weight. You hear the frown in his voice. I was Ogesti Telkotu, the firm hand of tradition. They called me one of the Black Three. Enemies did not understand us. They took my name to mean death in a dozen extinct tongues. Called me Orphan Maker, Hope Smasher, Death's child. My armies blackened the earth and the skies. My dragoliths scoured the land. Domination was my duty. If they had known, if they had welcomed us, they might have been our thralls. Instead, they became dust. He gestures. All this, it was to have been mine in stewardship for the future of my people. It was promised. But now, his arm falls back to its side. Now I am the genocide, a relict, the last of my kind. You mentioned the bat. Who or what were they? My people. His face is forlorn. Great warriors, we own this land. We served the Underspine, and it served us. We saw truth in victory. We ascended to epiphany. We were pure, incorruptible, indivisible, even in disunity. We found strength in one another and proved it with bloody blades. But we fell, and the Underspine fell. And so, too late, we learned a new truth. But I carry the old ways as a seed within my heart. Why did the bot fight so much? For honor, for truth, for the one way, because it was our duty. We were born to the blade, so it was written, so we chose. Free will is a curse unless given to a greater purpose. Our purpose was given to us by the Underspine, given to the Underspine by our ancestors, who founded and crystallized our essence forever. Can you tell me more about the Underspine? Our slave, our god, our prize. It kept us holy, kept us pure and unchanging, anchored to a fixed point. The world turned around us, but we remained constant. When the world brought inconsistency, we fed it blood. He pauses. The Underspine was our soul, our confessor. We knew clean, hard rapture from it. We knew our path. It gave us the words of the ancient Sabbat, and our path was rigid and unbending, absolute. What happened to the Underspine? You can hear the frown in his voice. Sabotage or failure. One of those under my command told me that it had whispered defeat into his ears, as if it had sickened, lost sight of the true path. Given the question, the Underspine denied this. My soldier was cast out, and I suffered the barb for his doubt. It was later, years later, that the Underspine broke. After our failure, and I have never been sure the seeds for our defeat were planted in those days. He shuffles his feet. The nano who captured me, who nailed me to time. Ooh, that's a nice phrase. He used the Mind Seer to ferret out the Underspine's location. I do not know if he ever found it in the world. He raped a genocide from me and mocked me with his sobriquet. I was not to blame. I will stand before the Underspine and swear my innocence. If the path was unbending, it's no wonder you broke. Ooh. I do not bend now. I have been driven down, but I do not bend. I live, and those who stood against me are dead. He turns away from you slightly. Do you have more questions, or do you release me? Yeah, let's release him. Okay, so I could talk to Otero. I could talk to Felinda. I could talk to El Ginto. I could talk to Canadu, but... I mean, this whole episode is just going to be me talking to townspeople. Why don't we try and further a goal? So, yeah, this day of execution. Sangolin. I need to find Sangolin in Government Square. Let's do that. I wonder if this is going to be like Pillars of Eternity. When the game started, the fact I could read people's thoughts was quite entertaining, and I think within an hour or two I never did it again because it became too overwhelming and it wasn't really relevant to the world. Or at least I felt it wasn't, you know. Okay, leave the area. Where are we going?
Ready.
Is this Government Square? Outside? We'll see. We'll see.
My friend, Orthfong at the Order of Truth, was looking into something for me. I'd like to stop by there. Problem is, most of the priests and I don't get along too well. They might not want to talk to me.
Alright, I'll ask them. Here we go, Government Square. Cool, and there's Sangolin. Excellent. So is, right. Let's talk to Sangolin. A tall, thin, and exquisitely dressed older man stands in the shade of an exquisitely crafted stall. The cut, color, and quality of his clothes are a symphony of harmonious coordination, while the expression of benevolent condescension he gives you would be more at home on the face of a king. Good afternoon, he says, bowing slightly. I'm Sangalin, and this is my store, Sangalin's Fittings. Welcome. How may I be of service? I'd like to see what you have to sell. So I have stuff I can sell, I think. Yep. Cool. Make some money that way. Gonna buy anything? No, I don't like buying things in RPGs. So let's talk to him again. Sangalin bows as you enter. Welcome back, sir. It is an honor to serve you again. What can I do for you? Wait. I just need to buy a thing from him, right? Acquire a city official's badge. Right. Okay. What do you sell here? I sell the finest city wear for discerning men and women, as well as quality armor for those traveling to less civilized locales. He clears his throat and directs your attention to a well-dressed mannequin wearing the badge of a city official. Also, it is our honor to have been chosen to provide the city of Sage's Cliffs with the official badges worn by all properly credentialed city employees. You may trust in their trust in us. Ooh, I could try and... Can I buy an official city badge? City badges are not for sale to anyone. They are given to duly elected or appointed public servants of Sage's Cliffs, and it is illegal for me to give them to anyone who does not work for the city. I would be breaking the law. He considers, of course, most public servants do offer me some remuneration for the materials, but no, I would not take the risk, nor betray my trust. Too risky. About 80 shins worth of risk, I'd wager. But you won't be breaking the law. My friend here has just been made Undersecretary to Overseer Yeen. A messenger should be coming shortly with a letter of commission, but you know how Yeen is. Always a bit sloppy with his paperwork. Deception. Let's see. Thank you, Tabir, but that's asking too much of this gentleman. Perhaps we could mitigate the risk to him. He purses his lips. I'm afraid I am unbribable, my friend, but if you were to purchase this fine pair of red boots for, say, 80 shins, it is possible I might leave something of value in the left boot by accident. That sounds like a reasonable price for boots, so I'll take them. Very good, sir. I'll wrap them up for you. You'll find the extra buckle in the left boot.
I'm making a note.
Is that all for today? Can I interest you in our fine collection of armor, perhaps? Very well. Cool. Show. Details. These seem like plain red leather boots, but when you touch them, a wave of sadness and disgust at the greed of humanity repulses you. You can't even consider wearing them. Wow. So did I get my badge? I guess I can't wear them. Quest items. There it is. Ooh, they're worth 40 though. Maybe I can sell them back to Sangalin now. Boop. Cool. So now where is the money? Where's my money? There. Okay. Next step. Acquire an old stay of execution from the council clerk. In Government Square. Council clerk, Government Square. Cool. Aying, who knows? Ooh, that's interesting. S. Imperi. Hey, there's a council clerk. Behind a lectern, a four-eyed hairless mutant processes paper with balletic grace. Ooh. He's endlessly snapping the elegant fingers of his left hand, and each time the air twists and shimmers, either disgorging a document to be processed processed, or accepting one that he's completed with his ink-stained right hand. Each of his eyes regards a distinct object, portals that are opening, preambles and recitals that must be reviewed, his own addenda that must be flawless. One eye twitches in your direction. Exaggerated scorn twists his mouth, and though his eye remains fixed on your face, he gives no verbal acknowledgement. The closest he comes is a faint sigh. At last, after shunting a half-dozen more documents to some distant cubby, he condescends to speak. You must wait, of course, until council matters conclude. His quarter gaze leaves you, his face returns to its former equanimity, and he continues his work, which shows no evidence of slacking, let alone concluding. Scatter his papers to get him to pay attention to. Let's try and persuade the man. I assure you that my matters are important enough to be worth a moment of your time. 35%. Oh. Well, which one's Alliger and which one's... That's me, right? I think it's Alliger and I think it's Tybalt. So let's use your things. 80%. Boom. The clerk conveys his personal regard for the importance of your matters with a long, loud sigh, but he focuses one of his eyes on you and replies, very well, very well. Let's weigh the worth of your needs, shall we? What is it that you want? I'd like to talk about paperwork. Faint sigh is the only acknowledgement you receive. In order to put a stop to a wrongful punishment, I need the stay of execution issued for Cole Cardin. Boom. The clerk hesitates for a moment and shrugs. It happens that the letter was consigned to destruction by year's end anyway, given the confirmation of Cardin's demise. With a snap of his fingers, a letter appears, and he looks it over. Yes, here we are. Quite the criminal he was, and no slouch in treason. But who am I to question the clemency of our peerless counsel? He hands it to you with a slight sniff. Let me check it for errors. Tipper snaps with an angry look at the clerk. Of course I shouldn't have to, but we wouldn't be here today if a mistake hadn't been made by someone in a position of authority. Oh dear, what do I say? Do I reprimand him? Why are you provoking him? Are you delightful? Ooh, do I like what he's doing? Yeah, why not? You delightful maniac. Tibber chuckles low in his chest. I think we're going to get along well, you and I. You feel him writing something on the document, presumably Riz's name, before slipping it into your pouch and giving a polite little cough to catch the council clerk's attention. Everything appears to be in order, he says, mouth set in a stern line. I meant no offense, of course.
I'll remember that.
The clerk turns a single angry eye Tibber's way. Of course I understand, he says, his voice shaking. The eye moves to you. Do we have any other matters to discuss? I am quite busy today. Farewell! The clerk gives no acknowledgement that he heard and merely continues with his work. Right, so I think I go back to the head guys now, right? Attempt to free Riz. Yep. This is going to be interesting to see how this all works. I really want to talk to all these other people in town. If I was playing on my own, I would be, but yeah, you know. Not only because you fine folks are watching this and I want to keep the game moving along, but because this is an impressions playthrough. Actually, yeah, if I was playing this for one of my old impressions videos, I'd be moving along a little more because, you know, I only have 7 episodes or, 3.5 hours to see as much of the game as I can to give me a good impression of it. So who do I talk to? Ying the Overseer, I believe. Ying the Overseer. The Overseer of the Execution raises an eyebrow as you show him your badge of office. Yes, sir, he says. How can I help you? A magistrate. What is he doing here? This man has a full pardon. Release him immediately. He looks over the stay of execution, paying close attention to the signature file. He nods. This is all in order. One moment. He turns and calls to the levies. Unmake the death of the condemned and set him free. He is pardoned. Turns back to you and bows. There you are, sir. All taken care of. Cool. As the levies march off and the crowd disperses, Riss steadies himself, not quite recovered from his ordeal. Finally, he raises his hand and his head, and focuses on you. If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you. But where's that? His eyes settle on Tibber. There you are, you slippery bastard. Now where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, The bastard left me out to dry. I know it. He chokes with emotion. A whole day, Tibber. I spilled my guts up there for a whole day. He steps back, spreading his hands. Yes, about the money. You see, Riz, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us that brandy without telling us about its secrets. But, Riz snarls, there's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there? I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squeal on you. And you only saved my skin to save your own. He smacks his fists together. Now, am I going to have to fight through your friend to get you, or are you going to step out from behind him and take it like a man? Calm down, both of you. Riz, tell it from the beginning. Yeah, cool. Dominant tide's changed. Legacy has shifted. Riz spits, then wipes his lips. There isn't much to tell. Captain Silvertongue here talked me into a dirty job, then disappeared like an abacus and left me holding the bag when it all went sour. Oh, Riz, says Tibber, can you blame me for running when I had a chance? You would have done the same, and besides, if I hadn't, we would have both been sentenced to die with no one to free either of us. Lucky that, if my tattooed friend hadn't come along, we'd both be executed in any case. He stabs a finger in Tibber's face. You only wanted to free me because you knew you'd be next on the block once the Devourer ate me. How would the Devourer of Wrongs know that Tibber was involved? The Dendra O'Hur, says Riss, consume our memories with our flesh. They know everything by the time they've finished eating us, and Tibber knew I'd have plenty of memories of him, didn't you, coward? The Devourer would have found you guilty, Tibber? Is this true? As far as it goes, he would have learned about me if he had eaten Riz, and I did manage to escape the levies when they showed up looking for us. But I didn't abandon you, lad. He puts his hand to his heart. Riz, I escaped the levies and saved you from the Devourer of Wrongs because I love you and did not want to see you die. You have to believe me. Escaping the levies was just good luck. That much is true. I don't know if I can trust Tibber. Do I? Riz says, cracking his knuckles. I'm with Riz on this, Tibber. You should make amends to him. He's the one who suffered here. That's right, Riz snarls. You can start by giving me my share of the spoils. All this indigo tide and gold tide and blue tide, I don't know what this all is. Maybe it's this stuff? No, I don't think so. Advancement? Oh, I think I can level up. Riz, you don't know what you're talking about. I never got paid, I promise you. This isn't over, you self-serving bastard. Riz jabs a finger in Tibber's face. Hide behind your friend if you like, but he won't keep you safe forever. You're dead, Tibber. Do you hear me? Dead. Ooh. Intrigue. Pardon me. The throat is a bit scratchy. Anyway, during that conversation, my alarm went off, so I believe we'll leave leveling up till next time. Please tell me what you thought of the episode in the comments. Actually, what are my thoughts so far? I'm still enjoying myself. It is very heavy on the text, but I'm enjoying reading it, and hopefully you're enjoying me reading it to you and reflecting the text with as much emotion as I can put into it. I have a feeling that Riz is going to be a problem, actually, even though I take his side, so I might have to talk to Tibber as well starting next episode. Hey, it's stuff to look forward to, isn't it? But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Until next time, see you later, folks.